The Yu-Gi-Oh! 2024 25th anniversary Megatins have been officially announced for later this year, and while Konami did give us some really cool and interesting news that will have people excited about the product, it isn't all quite sunshine and rainbows, as this year's Megatins have one huge problem that you 100% need to know about. In this video, I'll break down the announcement and go over everything that we know so far about the product and what's inside so that you can start planning accordingly. Because keep in mind, if you plan on picking up some of these and the rarity collection too, you might need to start saving up a bunch. So as I just mentioned, the Megatins were just announced and they're going to be released in the TCG on September 19th of this year, meaning that you've got about 6 months to the day. We do know that they'll revolve around the two biggest characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, and Yugi Muto, and of course his eternal rival Seto Kaiba. Yes, Yugi versus Kaiba again. I mean, seriously, just stop me if you've heard this before, because I feel like they've gone Yugi versus Kaiba like 10 times before, but you know, it is what it is. Per normal, each Megatin will contain 3 Mega Packs with guaranteed rarities. However, Konami did say that this time around they're going to be going with a different approach, where they're getting rid of some of the lower rarities such as Super Rare, and instead each pack will contain a quarter century rare. Now, personally, this was something that instantly caught my eye because I am a really big fan of quarter century rares, and most of the time if a card comes in a certain rarity and then also it comes in like a QCR, I am most likely going to try to pick up that QCR. It's also been a rarity that, from what I've seen, has been incredibly successful with the community, and people just have really seemed to take a liking to QCR. So I think that automatic QCR in every single individual Mega Pack is definitely something that will get players excited. I mean, it has me hyped in all honesty. In the press release, Konami went on to give us a full breakdown of the sets that would be making up this year's Megatins, and good grief, it is a lot of them to say the least. Gone are the days of the tins being 4 core booster sets, or maybe like a few core sets and then like a random deck building pack thrown in there or something like that, at least for now. Konami has arguably overloaded the tins this time around, as they'll feature cards from Power of the Elements, Photon Hypernova, Cyberstorm Access, Duelist Nexus, Age of Overlord, Maze of Memories, Amazing Defenders, and Wild Survivors. That's right, if you're used to the tins having 4 sets being the pool, well, Konami kinda doubled that this year, among other things, which I'll touch on later. To me, having sets like Agave, Duelist Nexus, and Wild Survivors makes a ton of sense, as I personally see a lot of value with potential reprints from those specific sets. But come on, man, what is Power of the Elements doing in here? By the time these tins are released in the TCG, it'll be nearly a 2-year-old set that technically already had an unlimited printing run. Furthermore, a good amount of the Pope metagame's heavy hitters have received huge ban list hits with cards specifically released in this very set. Cards like Mathmax Circular, Sprite Elf, and Tearlament's Kid Kalos. So, I don't know, call me crazy, but does this mean that Konami can't print the 3 strongest cards from the entire set? Or are they just doing something that is totally beyond my comprehension? And are they planning to, I don't know, maybe unban these cards in the near future for the TCG? Either way, that set in particular just stood out as one that didn't make a lot of sense. Honestly, I think that Konami probably would have done well to just chop off Photon Hypernova and Cyberstorm Access as well, but that's just my personal opinion. Konami also announced that the new Megatins would include alternate art forms of some pretty iconic cards like Harpy's Feather Duster, Regeki, Dark Magician Girl, although I will point out, I can't tell if the DMG is a Takahashi art. We'll also be getting Red Eyes Black Dragon, which actually does look like Takahashi drew it. I'd also like to point out, while these weren't explicitly announced, we are very likely to get cards like Limiter Removal, Tuning, and Reinforcements of the Army in their new alternate art forms, which are currently QCRs in the OCG, we just don't have them yet in the TCG. The Megatins will actually have a massive 50 QCRs in the set, which is insane and absolutely incredible in my book, So this seems like a good opportunity for Konami to import a lot of those random alternate arts that the TCG doesn't have yet. Reinforcements of the Army has multiple alternate arts that aren't available in the TCG, like the one with the baseball kids. We've also got the Sky Striker one, so on and so forth. We also got a full breakdown of what each 10 is going to be, or what it's going to include, I should say. And that's going to be 3 QCRs, 3 prismatic secret rares, 3 ultra rares, and 24 commons. So again, no super rares are going to be in this set at all, which I personally wish that they would have done with Rarity Collection 2, got rid of some of the lower rarities, but you know, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Outside of some nostalgia complaining about it being yet another DM-based Megatin, and specifically another Yugi vs. Kaiba themed one, most of the response was fairly positive. That was until people read a little line that lays out the exact set size of the Megatins, and oh baby, it is massive. This year's Megatins is going to be an absolutely ridiculous 400 card set, which, just to put into perspective for those who are like, how big is that, Cap? That's the same size as all the core booster sets that we get in a single year combined. This makes the 2024 Megatins the largest set ever, well, set size wise, and easily the biggest issue that people seem to have with this set so far, and I'll also go ahead and throw myself into that mix. Yes, the idea of potentially pulling an SP Little Knight, Super Star Slayer Typhon, or Msteady of the Horus, yeah, it sounds really good and awesome, but how are you ever supposed to get one specific card in a set that is this gigantic? It goes to reason that, as many immediately stated, the pull ratios are going to be absolutely dreadful, thus invalidating a lot of the primetime cards that you're actually looking to pull. This is all without mentioning that there could be potential short prints in the 10. Let's say, for instance, that SP Little Knight is in this set, which, by the way, I'm just going to go out on the record, I actually think won't be. Okay, but let's say that it is short printed in the set that's already gigantic by, you know, normal standards. The price is likely to go down, what, maybe $10 to $15 tops, which pretty much invalidates the reprint entirely. The set size being astronomical is pretty much the single biggest reason why I am waiting to see what else is inside these 10s before I commit to any pre-orders or even setting any money aside to purchase any. The set size is just too damn big. And that's not just my opinion, pretty much everyone else online is saying the same thing. 100 cards, excellent. 200, okay, we can work with that. 250, all right, that's probably where we need to put the limit. But 400 cards, I mean, that's just absolutely insane. Konami said in the press release that the set has something for everyone, and I get that that was probably their thought process when it comes to slamming 8 sets into a single product, but when you have a set that is this large, you're probably gonna have to buy cases upon cases just to get, you know, a couple of copies of a specific QCR that you're looking for. And at that point, it's like, okay, why not just buy singles and save yourself a whole lot of hassle? Again, there has been other pushback when it comes to these 10s, mainly just DM pandering for the millionth time, and it once again being Yugi versus Kaiba, but honestly, I just kind of chalk that up to Konami being Konami at this point. It doesn't really bother me all that much. Although I will say that, you know, I think that a Joey versus Megatin would have been kind of fire. Those two did also duel in the Battle City quarterfinals, and Konami doesn't do a ton with that, but you know, I digress. Whatever you guys think about this situation, you leave that in the comment section below. Specifically, what do you guys think of this set size? I don't want to say it's a killer, but it could be something that, honest to God, does kind of ruin these 10s. If they have some really fire cards in there from Agave and, you know, Duelist Nexus and stuff, but nobody's able to pull them because this is like the biggest set ever, it's gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Anyways, whatever you guys think, you leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always.